And remember, these are selectors, so I want to see equal.
Oh, yeah, right. So this is the mistake that I do most, most of the time. Hello and welcome to the third episode of metaUI TV. In this format, Frank and me are showing you the metaUI framework and how to build a scalable enterprise applications with Angular. This episode will be a little bit more challenging, at least for me, because Frank has prepared some tasks for me to check my metaUI knowledge, but we are still in the third episode, so we will take things easy. Yeah, so let's see how I will perform today.
Yeah, don't worry, Gregor. I'm still here, so if you get stuck, we'll be able to figure it out. But
Very good.
what I wanted to add to this is that today is really all about O.S.S. We will try to
Mhm.
go a little bit deeper what O.S.S is all about and how UI composition really works. And we will actually test a few things, what is possible. And I guess we can get started.
Okay, so then let me just open the project that we have started in our last video. Okay, so now I have our task O.S.S rule file open. It is as we have left it from our previous video.
Cool. And you know what? Let's open the task detail page HTML. You see
Okay.
the, yeah. And if you remember the slide a minute ago where browser set all the different contextual values for us, what is the current tag name, class name, and he tries to match those things against available rule set. We do exactly the same things here, but we don't ask browser to parse everything for us. We are a little bit one step ahead, where we say what is the current class, in this case, what is the current object, operation, layout, and for us is just really key value pairs, and we can keep adding some additional one.
Mm-hmm.
And we are setting up context doing this way, and these things is able actually to find everything what it needs and render the actual view for us.
Excellent.
Okay,
Okay.
now
Oh,
let's go back to O.S.S and
okay.
let's do a little warm up
Sounds good.
because I don't want to actually confuse all of you with those parts below. So let's delete the section below, class equals,
All the prepared code by the schematic. Okay, just get rid of it.
yes. And you know what? Delete zone none, zone left as well, because we don't understand this part yet. Okay.
Okay.
So what we did now, we have just basic definition. All is nested. We have class rule with sub rule called field, right? And what we're gonna do right now, we're going to just add some additional field that we call created because we want to capture all the fields here that we have on the entity itself, on the entity, right?
Yeah, so we already have it here.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just looking.
I did it as my homework.
Okay, good. And right now we are going to use a property called after. And
Mm-hmm.
called after property, we are going to start with unique name and we are going to uh, align unique name with zone none.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that we had in the other syntax. You know what? Not I was just testing you. You know it should not work, right?
Yeah,
Let's change it to zone left.
it does not make really sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Send it to non-zone.
Yeah.
Zone left.
Oops, so left.
And let's add this after property to every single field. How we want to those properties to be aligned, right? Because
Okay. So just let me do this really quick. And in between, in meantime, when I'm doing this, so let's just clarify for the audience what we are really doing here. So we have deleted all the zone specifications from the bottom. This
yes,
means that now none of our properties know where they should be rendered on the screen, right? And
yes,
this after property is just a way to describe how to position properties inside of a view. And for this positions, meta UI just comes with a concept called zones. And this zone left, zone none, zone right, these are just predefined zones to position certain elements on the screen.
Yes,
Is that
and
correct?
basically you can actually think of it like we have our own layout manager implementation, and inside this layout manager we have specific regions where we want to position certain fields. And by specifying, I want to send this field to the zone none, zone right, zone top, zone bottom, I'm just saying I want to show this field in this specific place, nothing
All right.
else.
Okay, so now let me just go through and adjust all the after properties. So I'm now just saying, so unique name should be put into the zone left. And now I can specify, all right, I want to say that name should be rendered right after unique name. And I can follow
Yes.
this pattern and say description should be rendered after name, and the created field should be rendered after the description field, for example.
Yes. And if we open up the
Yes.
browser.
Yeah, therefore I need just to start the Angular CLI real quick. And I also know that we are capable of compiling these rules into consumable TypeScript format for our rule engine. And I know that we also have a watch task for that. So now the tasks are already processed. The CLI has started. So let's check in the browser.
Yeah, you have it, right? So, okay, so create, edit, view, all should be identical. You know, I like to use more like advanced syntax. I mean, we call it advanced syntax, but it really makes things way easier. So let's switch back to the rules. It's just, we call it predecessor syntax, and we start with those zones left, none, right there at the end of the rule set. So we can actually delete all the after property and start with, wait until, ooh, smart.
Fancy multi-column editing, yeah.
So we start with zone none. We'll send all those zone none to the, all the fields to the none zone, right? So by doing this, we're just saying, before I start rendering the actual view, I want to just clean up everything and send all the fields or to none zone, which I'm saying set them display none or something similar.
All right, okay.
And then you want to say what was that before, zone left, yes. And you can just add all the other fields.
Yeah, so I can really just change them after another, like that.
Yes.
And then we can say we wanted to have created after name, and then we want to have description at the last field. And yeah, really, so this syntax makes really more sense to me because you can read it like a sentence.
We just finished description. Let's check whether we see everything on the Chrome.
So yeah, okay. So this syntax works as well. Good.
Excellent. Yeah. So now what I want to do is actually start with a little exercise. I will give you 2 or 3 questions and let's see how you perform. So let's go back to the rule. Okay, now we have task. Everything works fine. And we have 4 fields. But what I want to do, I want to show only a field that we call created only when I'm in a create operation view. So how would you do it?
Okay, so I know there is a concept of operations, and we can already see this here in the template file, right? So there is already a binding ready provided by the mContext component coming from metaUI, where we can just simply pass operation names, which we can freely choose. And we can also reflect those operations in the O.S.S rule set to specify the layout or the rendering of our UI properties. This means I can write a rule, and for that, just to keep things a little bit more separated, I will write another rule for task. This is already allowed. And in this specific rule set, I will specify the operation. And therefore, I can simply type operation And then I can say, okay, when the operation is create, please render also the properties as following. And therefore, I will just reuse the rule set here from the top, clearing the view by using zone none first. And then I will just say, okay, zone left, and I have the created field in it. And just to finish the task, I will just delete the property created from the general rule to be sure that all other operations will not have this property ready and that they will not display this.
And I just
Okay.
wanted to say it's kind of good practice to actually separate your field and class definition. That
Yeah.
should be common for all the screen, and then different variation how you want to show it with
Yeah.
this layout.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's see if this works. Okay, as we can see here in our view, there is no created field displayed. The same applies to the edit view, but in the create view, we see that we have the created add field, and we can totally edit and interact with those fields and change the view already, which is
And
fine.
and and remember, we still actually use those 3 lines of code in HTML, and we're just changing variation how the view should flow just using those rules.
Exactly, yeah. And now we are already at the point where we can interact with business rules and reflect those business rules in our model, in our data model, which is really nice to see.
Okay, we did this part. Let's dive a little bit more deeper. Let's suppose I want to actually create a view or my page that should actually render a different set of fields based on role or user role who's actually accessing the system. So we will introduce in our HTML our new contextual value role,
All
right?
right, let's
And we
do
will
this. So it's the
introduce,
same, literally is the same like operation, just we have here a role. And then I can just
yes,
define a role, let's say admin.
yes. And what we will do is we will actually create new rule that will show for admin, we will see all the fields. Then we will have role, I don't know, purchasing agent, that will see only 3 fields. And for the other, they will only see a unique name, for example.
Okay. So for that, I just clear this off for the moment to not confuse us too much. We just want to focus on one certain task. So for this, I would say we can, like we did for operation, we can have this role ready or this role concept. And when I understand you correctly, we have just a basic role for all views. We have a role that we want to apply for admin, or a
Okay.
rule for the role admin, and we want to have a rule for the role agent.
And remember, these are selectors, so I want to see equal.
Oh yeah, right. So this is the mistake that I do most most of the time. So okay, so these are the right definitions for it. And
And not just to confuse everybody, when we say role and brackets right away, it's just, you can think of it just like role equals star,
okay,
like for
so
everything.
this
But
is more explicit, of course. Yeah.
yes, but let's delete it for now. Okay, yes. So let's start with the role admin. Let's keep it simple.
Okay, so admin should see every field, right?
Yes.
Then I would copy this to admin, and then I would just add every single field to it. And these are all the fields that we have ready.
Let's do agent right away, so we don't need to.
An agent
And
was about to see 3 fields, right?
yeah, 3 fields. You can pick
Yeah.
any of them. Yeah.
Maybe the agent do not really need to know the ID or the unique name of it. So
Yes, exactly. And all the other people probably just want to, I don't know, maybe just see name of the task.
okay, so let's duplicate this for the last time.
Name and description.
Name and description. Okay, fine.
And hopefully it's without errors. And by doing this, we should see completely different pages for each of the role.
Okay, so this is what I expect. So we have the role admin assigned and we see all the fields, and this should apply to every operation right now because we have
Uh-huh.
removed this operation rule. So this is completely what I want to see. Let's just play a little bit with the roles. Let's change it
Yes.
to the agent role, for example.
We go back to HTML. Yes, yes, yes.
And then we can type agent. And now it's
Ooh,
just 3 fields just by configuring it. So yeah, now it for me it's really amazing to see how the concepts now really play well together. You can see UI composition, but not only by declaring a view, but also taking roles into account or different view modes into account. And this is a very powerful concept.
just type
Unknown, for example. It's just
unknown,
we have not. Yeah.
which would not match anything,
Yeah.
and it should fall down into 2 fields. Wow. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. This is really what I want to have there. Yeah.
And
Nice.
of course, we can actually even take it to the next level, right? And we can probably show you next time. But
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like, you remember as we deleted the operations, if you go back to O.S.S file, what if we are even able to put into admin another level, just like you would do in sets, for example, that we have these operation things, the selectors, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
let's say for admin,
Mm-hmm.
we can actually restrict it even more and wrap the zone none, zone left inside the operations, just like we had that before.
Okay. So role admin, and I will add operation. Which operation should I choose? Create,
Let's do edit, for example.
edit. All right.
And for edit, you don't want him to change, let's say, description, just hide it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let's create another section that we say operation brackets without anything. Maybe you should put it on top. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of good.
I will
It's
do
gonna
that because it's more general.
and show everything just like we had before. Now, even I'm curious whether it's gonna work.
Yeah. So description, re-add this one. Oh, description, right?
Okay.
And I need
Yes.
to set the admin role in there.
Yes. Let's wait a little
Let's go to
bit.
the browser.
So we have everything, view. Okay, we
Okay,
see
this is like
everything.
expected, yeah. And in edit,
Edit. Wow, we
wow,
see only
yeah,
three,
and
three
edit.
fields.
So we are totally free to configure views based on different roles. And this is exactly what we want to do in enterprise without spending a lot of time or even money to develop such features, right?
Well, let's check create. Let's not jump before we check this. Okay,
Yeah,
it did
create
works.
also works. Yeah.
So, so anyway, by doing this, we try to somehow make it a little bit closer to you to find the similarities between actual CSS or, for example, SAS and O.S.S.
Mhm.
Really, for us, it's just the selectors and properties, and you can just nest them as you want, depending what contextual values you push in, and you can completely change the course how your UI is going to be rendered.
Exactly, yeah. Well, Frank, I think we did it for today, right?
I hope so. I
Okay.
mean, I had a little bit more, but
I know.
you cut me and
Yeah.
you said let's do it for next time.
Yeah,
So
let's stop for today. Yeah, thank you again for watching this video. Hopefully, this content was valuable for you. If so, please give us a thumbs up for this video, or you can even subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions or recommendations, but we can improve, then just leave us a comment below.
thank you so much and see you next time.
Yeah, bye bye.